Alright, here's the issue. My computer is giving me an error when I turn it on, and the fan inside of it's making a lot of noise. There's 3 fans inside my computer. One's the fan that blows the hot air out, then there's a CPU fan that cools down the processor, and then there's a game card fan for the monitor and all that. The CPU, or the computer fan that blows the hot air out, has been replaced. I narrowed it down to the CPU fan that cools down the processor. I'm going to fire the computer up so you can see the computer error. Then I'm going to put this new fan in and see if it actually voids the error out, and then my computer starts working better. So with that said, this is a Dell Inspiron 3656. I bought it in 2017. It has some of the cool stuff in it. It's not a cheap computer, but it's not one of the big time gaming PCs. So this error comes up. It says it's running a diagnostic. And it actually makes noise. I can hit escape to stop the test, and it goes right to the error then. Alright, come on. And there's the little sound. Inspiron 3656, the CPU fan failed to respond correctly. I've scanned this QRC code and typed all these in on Google, and I'm coming up with either it's the CPU fan or a bad motherboard. If I hit continue, the computer runs, but it makes a lot of noise. This is a new part that I just got in. I just need the fan. This manifold, I'm going to actually take it off because it's just a spacer, and try to just plug the fan in and see if I can get it to work. Now the system comes up and we're good to go. I'm not going to log on because you'll see my security code, so we'll come back with me taking apart the actual CPU. Alright, here's my computer. I haven't even taken the plastic seal off of it yet, so it's fairly new. Back of it, I've already unscrewed these screws a little bit, so you have to use a screwdriver to loosen them. Just 2 of them. This panel slides off. There's the inside. There's the fan that blows the hot air out. Right there's the CPU cooling fan. Hopefully that's not blurring out. And then there's a fan down here for the video card. Now this one's the one that's making noise. I know that for a fact. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the hard disk out so I can get to the CPU fan. Unscrew. There's 2 clips. And then there's a button that says pull. That's my hard disk. Piece of cake. Now I got to get to the old fan and take it out. I pulled the hard disk so I could reach it with my screwdriver. Give you a down view. I have to take these 4 screws out and then unplug it. We'll just leave that recording. One. 2. These are at a little bit of an angle. 3. Fourth screws out. There's the fan. Just pulled that plug out. And I'm going to take a break here because I need to go get a pair of needle nose pliers to get that plug in. Here's what it looks like removed. The pin to plug the fan in is somewhere back in here. I can't see. Right there. This is like the shroud that it sits on, spacer, manifold. What's weird is that these screws aren't threaded in there. So I'm going to take this one apart and use this fan. I'm not going to pull the whole, whatever that thing's called, I forget what it's called, shelf. So this is a new one. Replacement fan. Oh, that'll be good on YouTube. Me dropping that. This is the old fan. Throw that back there. Probably just fried my motherboard. Hardest part is getting this thing plugged in. Easy to pull it out. How to plug it in? on. Now the next hard part is getting these screws in. Two started. Number 3. I got it upside down. That would not have worked. Two. I got all 4 of them started, so I'm going to snug it up. Okay, that's snugged up. I just got to put the hard disk back in and throw the cover on. Plugs, unscrew, now I'm going to plug everything in. Things back together. Alright, Moment of truth. It's definitely working inside. Let's see if the air comes up. I can see it spinning. Before I tore it apart, it barely spun, but it would finally get going. It was like a old water mill. Come on, baby. All right, no error. It's definitely not making noise. And we're back in business. That's a fix. That's a win for this guy. So this piece right here, I bought on eBay. It was used with the fan on top. This is the old fan that I took off. This was 1888. What's weird is this little manifold that sits on top of the processor. When you take these screws out, they're self-threaded into these grooves here. It's kind of hard to see. So instead of me pulling this whole thing off and dealing with this compound that's supposed to go on top of the processor, I just took the fan off because it was easier. So I'm back in business. If you can see inside the computer, it's dark down here. You can actually see the fan spinning, and it's not making any noise. The rear fan right here that pushes air out, I also got on eBay for $4.24. I thought that was the problem at first. So that's a quick how-to video on how to replace a CPU fan with the air that was in the beginning of this video for a Dell 3656 Inspiron desktop computer.